Okay, if you think this looks a little different, it should. What we're going to do is, essentially, once you've got this connected up to the PC, and you probably already know this, but I'm just going to go through it anyways. But this is what you want it to look like, looking at it from behind the projector. So right now, this is essentially a mirror image of what you'd normally see. Using the remote control for the projector, you can actually just go right through the menu, and it's under extended, and the item number or the piece that you want is projection. Now, in the 3 or 4 times that I've had this projector working to do setup and changes and all those kinds of things, it's always defaulted back to the front setting when I've turned it back on. This time it came on correctly, so I'm going to set it up for you in rear display, but just so you know that you can do it in multiple ways. So you essentially just hit the menu button, go down to extended, hit select, and go to projection, and then you want rear. Okay, now before I do that, I'm going to run through this really quick and show you some of the other things. When you do this setup, depending on how level your base is, you know, if the floor is level that your stand is on, all those kinds of things, I'm going to set up the stand that we're working off of right here. I'm going to set this up for the legs to be perfectly level. There are set holes, just like in the booth setup. There are holes like that, but they're not quite tall enough. And where our setting sits for the hole in the booth, it's actually in between the holes. So just using these silver tension screws, you can essentially just tighten that righty-tighty to get them to go into space. What I'll do is actually mark it off where you need to put them at to be perfectly level all the way around, and then we'll go from there. But if you need to do some slight adjustments back and forth, then you know how to do that. Now, again, simple stuff on as far as projectors go, and I'm sure you guys know this, but the back feet on the back of the projector both screw out to be able to help with leveling things out, as well as there's one up on the front also. And then there's keystone settings up on the top, so if you do have to play around with that, you can use those. And then you can also telephoto or widen the image. So that's all on the unit itself, but it's also within the menu selections in your remote. The remote's really easy to use, and I'd actually just play around with it just for kicks, so you know how to do it, because it actually works out really well. Now I'm just going to set this up for rear projection, and then we're pretty much done. So I will get everything packed into the case, show you where everything goes, and make sure that that works the way that it should, and then we'll be good to go and you'll be set. Okay, so here we are. We're pretty much all set here. What I've done is created 2 packages for you this time around, all right? This is your main trade show booth package. This envelope has got your literature booth or literature rack in it, and that goes right in this corner here. And what we're going to do is essentially we've created a nice tight fit for everything in the booth that you're going to need day to day. In this bag has got all your tools. I've got a backup Allen wrench kit, as well as the 2 Allen wrenches. I've also included in this package the screen, the projector screen brackets. I ended up taking these off. Earlier I told you that you could keep them on. I didn't like how it sat in the case here, so to make sure that there was no flex in that screen, I took these off. All you need to do is I actually marked it off with a pencil where these go on the projector screen. So when you do that, just make sure that you're doing it just like this. You're looking at the back side of the screen, you slide the screen into that little slot right there, and using the small T Allen wrench, you just tighten it in right inside of that pencil mark area. Okay. Also inside here are a pair of gloves and the plastic drop cloth. There's a upholstery fabric cleaner kit just in case those do get the graphics do get dirty at some point. All right, and then we also have, like I said, here's your literature stand. Inside this top fabric envelope is the standoff graphic, the big piece that holds onto your rear projection screen. that standoff bracket is in here, as well as your lights. I put it in this envelope. It really doesn't need to be protected that much, but I put it in here just so it doesn't scratch anything else, because it's just the tubing. That's the only piece of tubing that doesn't break down to a flat piece. In this other fabric envelope on the bottom here is all of your electronics. So your projector is here, your speakers are here, your keyboard, and then all of the different cords and peripherals, all that type of stuff is in this as well. When you pack this together, you're going to want to set it up similar to this, because underneath here is your pole bag. So that's pretty much rigid, but in the center here we're nice and soft, because that's where your graphics are. So you're going to want to have your bigger pieces to the right hand side of the envelope, and then the peripherals and the bag that's got all of your cords in this side. Okay, so I'm going to slide this stuff back into place here, and then nice and snug. I'll show you really quick. Underneath here we've got your pop-up podium, your graphics, and then again the pole bag up in front. Underneath all of this is your flats. So it's the top of the actually the entire projection stand that breaks down to flat, and that's down there, as well as your projection screen and the tabletop for your pop-up podium. So everything is encompassed into this one nice big box, and you should be all set to go for travel, shipping. Everything works out extremely well. If you wanted to, you could put together like either a big piece of bubble wrap or some other piece of padding that would go over from the bottom all the way to the top. You really don't need it, but if you're concerned at all, anything like one of those egg crates or just a piece of foam from a local upholstery shop can do it. I'm very confident that you're going to be fine with it just like this, because once you strap these straps on real nice and tight, it doesn't move at all, so you're good to go. We've actually moved a lot of LCD TVs in these before as well. Now, this one time, you're also going to see a second package. All right, this package is going to include the accessory shelf for your pop-up podium. Didn't know if you wanted to have this in there or not. It will fit in there, no problem. So you could put it in, no worries, and it would actually fit real nicely right on top of this. Okay. And you can put that in there, as well as there's a disc in here that's covered in blue plastic. That is a clear acrylic shelf component that if you don't want to use a literature rack for some reason, you could put that shelf on instead, and that's in here. So this bag will show up in that box as well as a second piece, unless I can actually just fit it in here real well, nice and snug. So I'm going to try that first. But so other than that, that should be it. Thank you very much.